Ryan from Ballistic Tech. Thank you guys for watching this video. Today we're in a slightly different setting. I'm here in kind of my workspace, makerspace area, which I haven't shown a lot on the YouTube channel. I do show it on social media, but today we're going to be talking about this guy. This is an electric precision screwdriver called the Wowstick 1F Plus. And as I've been doing a lot of prototyping and builds, I find myself spending a lot of time unscrewing and screwing things in, and I'm hoping that this product will kind of alleviate some of that. And I saw it on Instagram, I saw it on Instagram and then checked it out on Amazon, and it was only like $46 to $50. So I figured I'd pick it up and try it out and let you guys know what I think about it. So this is gonna be an unboxing, kind of tour of it and some first initial impressions. So let's get into it. So it's a pretty weighty package. I noticed, I was actually surprised how dense it felt. So getting it open, the first thing we have is a screw pad, and it says nicely on there, I am a screw pad. And this is actually fairly dense and heavy. I believe it's a magnet, or it's magnetic. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those refrigerator magnets, but it's got like a grid on it, and you can put your screws on it and they will hopefully stick to it if they are of a ferrous material. So that way when you're doing assembly of stuff or disassembling something, you can put each one in kind of like a grid order. You can see that I have a silicone mat here that has something similar. I also have an iFixit dish that can allow you to fit a bunch of screws, so you can kind of keep them in the steps that you took them apart and disassemble them, so you can just reverse the order when you put them back together. So that's kind of nice. And then we've got a lot of stuff in here. And I'm noticing, I'm surprisingly pleased at how well it's packaged. We've got a case here. That's the biggest thing. So I'm gonna open it up. So that's a nice sleek looking design. It's a travel case, I guess. And I'm not sure if it's meant to hold the screwdriver. I don't know a lot about this product, but it might be meant to hold the screwdriver and or some of the bits, and it's got a magnetic snap together fit. It's kind of nice. Then next we have a toolbox accessories. So we have a USB or a micro USB charge cable. We have this is a magnetizer, demagnetizer. I have a couple of these in my precision screwdriver kits. And we've got a little specimen jar with a bunch of screws in it. I'm not sure what that's for, presumably for the screwdriver. Then we have a little suction cup guy here. This is really useful. They come in a lot of the iFixit and other screwdriver kits for sucking down to a screen, and then you can use a spudger, which is also included, this guitar pick style spudger, to pry apart the top of the screen and then use this to pull it off and detach some of the glue. Sometimes you have to apply heat, sometimes you don't. Then we have a base accessory, and this is dense in of itself. Ooh, it's got a nice metallic finish. I like that. It's kind of got like the Apple Space Gray, very, very dark, kind of monochromatic look to it. And again, it's quite hefty. Then we've got 3 things left. The majority of these seem to be screwdriver bit sets. Take a look at some of these guys. So yes, this is a bit set, and it's nicely labeled with all of the different types of bits on there. So you've got triangular, square drive, some security bits, different Phillips heads, and a hex drive on there. So there are 3 of these, I guess. And some of these are actually a long type. So nice rubber stopper there. Oh, you're supposed to open it on the other side. I didn't read. It's actually clearly labeled though. Open this way. And then when you open it, it all comes out. That's kind of nice. And then these can kind of just pivot out, but they've got some longer ones, which is good for things like Xbox and PlayStation controllers. Sometimes the screws are recessed really down deep into stuff. So it looks like they've got some common. You've got 3 different Phillips drives, or 2 different Phillips drives, a flat head drive, and then I'm assuming a very common like 1.5 torque hex head. Actually, it's labeled on there. It's a 2.0, 2mm hex head. So that is a very common one, but here you can see all the different bits that it's got, and these are, you know, nicely and easily tracked and stored. Then with the case, you can pop one of these guys in there, which is pretty cool and nice. Check out some of the other bit sets. And I imagine you can buy some of these since they're individually packaged so nicely. I imagine you can buy some of these individually. But again, we've got some more, these are more exotic. So there's got like Torx with a security bit in the middle of them, different star patterns. These are all of the shorter type bits, but that's really nice for trying to keep them stored well and being able to get access to them, I hope, at least. But that's a very interesting kind of system to be able to get to them. And yep, that fits in there as well. Then the last one before we get to the actual screwdriver. And these are kind of your more standard ones. So very, very tiny Phillips. Quadruple zero, then triple zero, double zero, 1 to flathead from 1 to 40. Hex from 0.7, 0.9, 1.3, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, and 3. So pretty nice variety of bits there. I imagine this will cover most of what you'll need. And of course, this is a standard hex drive kind of system. So you can get some other ones that they might sell or that you might have. And then finally, we've got the actual kind of pen drive screwdriver. Metal casing, metal drive. Let's see if it's got charge. Yeah, it does. Oh, it's got LED lights on there too. So you can presumably light up, especially if you're like looking down into a recess or something like that. That seems kind of nice. Charging port on the back. It looks like there's a little hole for an LED there. And then you've got bit holder there. So let's take one of these guys and slot him in. And it's got a magnetic retention in there, so it'll hold it and won't fall out. But it looks pretty good. It feels surprisingly heavy. Imagine there's, you know, a lithium ion cell battery somewhere inside of the assembly. But overall, I'm impressed with the quality for $50. Oh, one thing to note is that it will actually also fit inside of the carrying case. So you can pack up one of your most commonly used sets of bits and the screwdriver and carry them with you. I'm not sure what the battery length should be, but that's kind of nice for, you know, if you're trying to do some stuff on the go. Let's put it to a little bit of use. So after getting this guy opened and seeing how kind of nicely it was put together, I decided to give it an initial test with the initial charge, so not charging it up whatsoever. And I did a little bit of disassembly and reassembly on this sim racing steering wheel that I've been working on. It's a DIY project. It's actually designed by a guy named Zach from Turn Racing. And if you're into sim racing and you like gear and you like DIY stuff, I'll have links to his YouTube and his website in the description below. But I've been doing a lot of kind of prototyping projects like this where I'm putting in different microcontrollers and basically taking the wheel apart and putting it back together over and over and over again as I'm dry fitting stuff. And one of the most tedious things about that is unscrewing things over and over and over again. So I've been using, you know, these Allen key screwdrivers a lot, and they're nice. And I figured the Wowstick would be a nice kind of substitute for having a bunch of these. And for the most part, I think it did a good job. I completely disassembled the paddles and the shifters from the units, and I've been doing that over and over and over again quite a bit as I've been changing them out and doing different 3D printed ones and different CNC metaled ones and things like that that Zach actually sells. And it did the job pretty fine. I did notice that if you have things torqued down pretty well, the drive on this usually isn't strong enough to kind of break the screw loose, especially if you have something like a strong nylon lock nut on there. So generally I had to break it by hand, just turning the screwdriver, but the holding torque on this was enough to initially break the screw loose, and then you can use the automatic drive on it to actually unscrew the screw, same thing when you're screwing it back in. I usually screwed it all the way down and then just kind of gave it a torque by hand in order to finish it off. Like sometimes like you're in a precarious position, you're holding something in place around a corner, or you have your finger on a nut, or, you know, like in a small recess, and not having to sit there and turn it to get it started, just pressing a button was really, really nice while I was reassembling things. In terms of the initial charge on it, it made it pretty much all the way through the end of the reassembly process. I did notice it start to lose a bit of juice, but it was, as I mentioned, it wasn't fully charged. Just wanted to see how much of a charge it had out of the box. I did try to utilize the stand quite a bit to put it back there. One thing I've always noticed is I always lose whatever is the most important and useful tool I'm using, be it a screwdriver, Allen key, wrench, spanner, whatever it might be. So I like the idea of having the stand so that it's kind of a place where it goes, and I tried to get used to putting it back in the stand over and over and over again. It is a little bit of a kind of showpiece type of thing. It's not as functional as I would like it to be. One thing I would recommend for them to maybe look into in the future is to try to get it so that it's kind of like a dock and charging station all in one. I assume it would probably increase the price a little bit, but I think it would add a little bit more kind of utility to the stand. The set of bits was way more than I needed, to be honest, for this particular job. I think all I have on here is like 1.5 to 2.5 and 3 millimeter hex drive screws, so it handled that pretty well. I actually do have some M5s on there that might be like 3.5, but I didn't use those so far, and it had all those bits. These seem like they're really nice hard metal. I wasn't twerking things down a lot, and I wasn't having to try to unstick things. I did really like that these were all individually labeled, so you know there's several dozen bits here, and if you take a lot of them out and use them a lot, then it really helps to be able to know exactly what size which one is, and you don't have to break out a pair of calipers to figure out if it's the 2 or 2.5 and things like that. The laser etching on there was actually pretty nice. I did use the mat, the magnetic mat to hold the screws. I didn't like put them in any special order, but I did kind of also use it to hold the bits, and I think it was kind of nice. You could put the particular bit near a set of screws that bit would drive in, so you can kind of have things organized that way as well if you wanted to, or you can put them kind of in a more chronological order. But it held on to things. I did bump into the table a couple of times, and the screws didn't go rolling all over the place under things off the table to never be seen again. So that's a really nice thing to have, and I can see myself using it a fair amount in the future. So overall, yeah, I gotta say I'm fairly pleased with this for less than $50. I think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it. I'm gonna be using it as I do more DIY builds, as I do more PC builds, as I just take apart things because I want to know how they work. And I will report back and probably do a little bit more of a full long time review on this guy. If you have any specific questions about the Wowstick, let me know in the comments below. If you want to see me test it with anything in particular, let me know. If you have any interest in kind of any of this more DIY and maker type stuff, let me know as well. I love this kind of stuff. I go to Maker Faire whenever I have it, whenever there's not, you know, a global pandemic going on. And I also like to go to places like 3D printing festivals like Mirth and Earth and things like that. So I'm happy to share more of that with you guys. I do have some videos on that already that I'll try to have linked around, but also follow me on social media because I tweet and Instagram a lot more of this stuff that you guys might not see all the time on the channel. So that's a great way to find out more about that. But thank you guys for watching. I will report back to you on this guy, and I have some more video content planned. It's just a matter of trying to get it all recorded and get it out to you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm happy to be making videos again. I will see you in the next one. Peace.